Okay, ladies and gentlemen, boys, girls, and fishing accomplices, good morning and welcome back to Fishing. So we are getting into it, folks. It is November 17th, 2024, and we are going to try and keep this tog train alive. Sorry if this isn't your favorite thing. Options are rather limited right now. I know bass are around, but I just don't have it in me to pursue them. Just wanted to keep pretty close to home. But yeah, today looks like it could be a good one. Weather-wise, the conditions are the best they've lined up for me in a day off in quite some time. Should have relatively controlled winds out of the northwest. Looking at anywhere from like 7 to maybe 10-ish knots, but we're fairly sheltered over here, and that's one of the reasons why I didn't want to stray too far from home, is just to avoid any nasty winds. But yeah, things have definitely cooled down this past week. Just a little under a week ago, and I was reading surface temps in the mid 60s, but things have really cooled down this last week, and right now, you know, it's going to warm up, but I'm reading 54 on my fish finder, so we're definitely in a new phase of fall, and I'm curious what that's going to mean for the blackfish bite. I know they're definitely around, they're no question. I mean, they'll be around biting here unless we get some kind of crazy climate event till the better part of December, but the question is we can find the fish we want and get onto a good bite. So I'm gonna bop around a bit today. I've got some time, so we're gonna try and make the most of it and hopefully have a good one for you. So thank you for staying tuned as we get some fishing accomplished. Okay, well, this first spot we're gonna try, if you've been following the channel, should not look new. It'd be silly not to try here just because of how well it was last time I was here. I definitely left the fish biting and left a lot of large fish still here, but let's see if there's still fish here several weeks later. Some of these crabs are definitely not looking so hot, but let's just not even anchor to start and see if we can find something. Yeah, some of these crabs are definitely dead. All right, we're anchored. Let's get rid of some of these disgusting crabs. Oh, God. That's a malnourished hog right there. Very skinny. Not that big. Not bad. All right, so far just small fish. I'm not going to hang out here too long if this is all we're getting. When it was good here, it was pretty obvious there were some big fish right from the beginning. Not so much today though. It seems like just really small stuff. And this tide is going to rise fast, so let's not get stuck here. That's a better one. He's just hooked in the head. Now he's spear hooked. It's a nice one. It's definitely better. It's about 15 and a half. Yeah. Let's fish. That's better. Not good enough though. Barely got you. It's not a bad fish. That's a keeper. Nice fish. Close to keeper at least. Maybe a little short. Yeah, it's like 16 and a half. It's almost 17. I'll let him go though. I want something with a little more meat to him. That's a female. Alright, first legal fish. Let him go though. Can do better. I don't want a huge fish, but I don't want one that's like right on the line. This current's ripping pretty hard, so I'm going to up the weight a little bit. Just want to have a little better control of my line. Nice short. Fish are getting better. Ooh, that's a lot better than I thought it'd be. Wasn't really doing anything. It's the keeper. Got a mangled tail though. I wonder he wasn't fighting too hard. Fish should be a keeper, but I don't know if it's gonna make it with that mangled tail. Fish should be like 18 inches long. Thing has no tail. Should be like an 18-inch fish, but it's got no tail. Oh well. At least a 17-incher. No wonder he's not fighting. You, my friend, are a survivor. Alright, nice short with no fin on its tail, so that was unfortunate. That one I would have capped too. But, such is life. I'm sure there's some more nice fish down there. Tide is moving. Whew, full moon tide. Alright, so far this spot is really underperforming, so this might be the last batch of crabs I fish here before moving, assuming we don't get anything good on this drop. Let's definitely fish around. Just feel like if there was anything really good here, we would have got it by now. Okay, so on this particular day, I decided to mix things up. As the bite was kind of dwindling down, I decided to drop a camera down in underwater. It's an old GoPro Hero 5 Session, something I bought a few years ago, and I haven't really been using it much, so I didn't feel too concerned if I did end up losing it. I wouldn't have been happy about it, obviously, but something I could have lived with. But as you can see right here, this first spot has a really good structure, but you'll notice the huge boulder, and really a set of boulders or ridge that goes directly upon just basically like a sandy bottom. No shortage of action, though a lot of these fish are small, as you can see right here. But yeah, as you can see, once we're dropped back down, it doesn't take long to get these fish's attention, but definitely not a ton of fish. What I think you'll see right from the beginning is like you'll get one fish's attention, and then after that, other fish will gravitate. But I don't think this area was holding too many fish. I will say this was right as I was getting ready to leave this spot too. But you see this one fish come in, and then you got a couple other right behind it, coming in hot, all trying to get a piece of this crab. I don't know if that's a horseshoe on the screen right now too, or some kind of weird, metal device. But yeah, you'll notice again, like there's the huge structure, and then basically there's nothing at all. So still a few fish hanging out here, but they're generally on the smaller side, and definitely not the numbers you'll see in the next underwater footage. But I do find it interesting just to like take this all in, because now that things are cooling down, a lot of these fish I think are starting to move into some deeper water, but there's still some lingering in the shallows. And again, I did already get into some of the better sized ones. In this clip, I think I'm right on top of the structure, and you can see just how fast the tide is moving too. But these fish are they're coming after it. Even with this colder water, they're still very interested and, very curious about what's on the other end of the hook. Another thing I'll say about this spot when I did underwater footage is because it's so sandy, I had trouble really getting a good anchor in. And as you'll notice, it's one giant boulder, so unless I got in front of it, it was really hard for me to hook it and position myself the way I wanted. So every time I'm dropping this down, you're seeing a slightly different bottom, and I think that kind of hurt towards building a better bite, just staying in one place. I kept drifting a little bit. Again, that anchor just kept getting pushed back and back and back, and I was having trouble really settling in to the bottom. So just something to note. All right, well, there were plenty of fish in that first spot, but I just wasn't getting the vibe for anything really that significant there. Got two that were, one legal fish, one that should have been legal but was missing its tail. I'm going to try moving in a different direction into an area that I know worked well for me last year, this time of year. And if that doesn't work, I'm going to try someplace completely different. So I'm hoping between those two things we make something happen. But really, I think the sweet spot that I'm looking for today is probably around 20-ish feet. It looks like a lot of the fleet is working out deeper, which certainly there's fish there, but I want to try and stay away from them and fish some of the stuff that maybe hasn't been fished as hard as of late. So remember this time, the last couple of years, mid-November, I've been finding fish 15 to 25 feet, good-sized fish, fairly frequently. All right, brand new spot. This spot in particular was very good to me last year. I've tried it this year, done just okay, but this spot I didn't really get onto until the better part of, November, and when I found it, it was holding fish until December. So let's see how we do with it now. I did go over it and did start immediately marking fish, just a matter of whether they're nice fish, So let's see what we can do. All right, I'm a tiny bit off where I want to be, mostly on this piece, so let's see if it's good enough. Good fish. Good start. Good start. Yeah, it's more like it. It's not legal, but it's very close. That's the kind of star we wanted. Very close to keeper. Jeez. Oh gosh. Jeez. This rod is bending like crazy. Oh, that's a good one. That's a nice fish. Jeez, look at that head. Guess my intuition was correct about this spot. It's not a huge one, but it's not a small one either. She's not huge. I won't feel so bad about keeping this fish. It's about 18 and change. Yeah, we'll take her. Getting close to the end. All right, we'll throw this one on the stringer. It's funny because this spot, I fished it earlier in the season. It was not like really happening at all, but now that we're cooling down a bit, everything's kind of moving around. This spot tends to be much more lively. All right, that was more like it. That was the fish I needed. I had to toss it out a little bit. I'm a tiny bit off the structure and wasn't really getting many bites, but obviously pushing it away a little bit, that made all the difference. So see if we can make that happen again. Tide has definitely settled down a little bit, so we're going to try with a lighter weight. This is a 1/2 ounce Fishin J&C jigs, pretty much exclusively. Yeah, I'm getting a lot of life coming up off the bottom, so definitely got some fish's attention right now. Oh man, oh man. Another nice fish. Oh man. Oh man, look at that thing. Oh, that's not good. Oh no. Really solid hand, not huge. I won't feel terrible keeping that one either. Oh god, oh god, oh god. 17, that's perfect. 17 and a half. Just inhaled that whole crab. Alright, well after a tough week of work and not fishing so much, I was waiting a long time for that fish, and I've also been waiting a long time to drink this seltzer. This is one I've never tried before. Kavita Mojita Lime Mint Coconut Sparkling Drink Probiotic. I don't think it's technically a seltzer, but it's in the neighborhood. pretty flavorful. It's definitely sweeter than seltzer, I'll say that much. It is a mojito style drink, obviously no alcohol. Definitely minty, limey. Maybe a little bit more mint than I'd want. I'd want a little more lime. I think the gold standard for something like this is the Nixie mint ginger, or lime ginger. This approaches that, but it's not quite that level of greatness. Again, this isn't a seltzer, but I think this is refreshing. I think this is tasty, and I would drink it again, though. I don't know if I'd buy it again, because this is a more expensive can, probably retailing over $2. So I'm going to rate this an 8.2. Pretty good, and just what I need at this point of the day. So let's see if we can pick up and get some more good fish. Jeez. Close, but not quite. Finally a male, though. Explains that. Ooh. That's a better one. Yeah, that's looking legal. Close to legal. Probably not quite. It's like a nice 15-incher. Not a bad fish. I'll see you on the anchor. Didn't even feel that good at first. That might actually be a legal fish. That's definitely legal. It's a hen though. It's like just right on the line probably. That's a hair over 16. Let it go though. Probably very, very close to legal, if not on the money. Okay, so similar to the first spot, I wanted to try and get some good underwater footage of this area before I left it. And this one was interesting because this spot you can really notice the difference, and you'll see like there's a big sea bass that's swimming around, which is also quite a surprise to me. And you'll see more of him as this goes around. I was surprised to see sea bass this far west in the sound, and this shallow as well. But you'll notice the second this thing gets to the bottom, it's just surrounded by blackfish. You'll notice the bottom here, rather than being one giant boulder, this is a bunch of smaller boulders, still much big boulders clustered together with very little space in between. And they're almost like stacked on top of each other. So there's plenty of places for these fish to hide. And along with that, it makes it kind of a tricky spot to anchor because I've lost numerous here that have gotten just like into those crevices. And obviously it's not just anchors that like those crevices. You've got blackfish as well. And it's just one on top of another on top of another. As you watch, you'll see plenty of, blackfish. Most of them aren't very big. Some of them are, probably on the line or close to keeper size. But again, this is after already hammering this spot for quite some time. And I bet, if I put this down a bit later, you would have seen some larger ones. But again, this area is just ideal. It's just tons of boulders, and these boulders are kind of continuous, and they connect to other much larger areas. And it's funny because this is just a spot that I kind of stumbled on one day. But again, just taking the footage, how many fish there are and how many of them get like kind of stirred up as they watch the other fish feed. Last round in this spot. These crabs suck. They're all just falling apart. Oh my God. Hit it on the way down. I was pulling at a spot. Oh, no. Damn it. Just dropped a really nice one, or had a nice one snap me off in the last flip. That's tog fishing for you. Not bad fish. Not quite big enough for me. It's like probably right on the line. Very close. Whether he's big enough or not, he's going back. I'm trying to keep this bite going while we can. Okay, we're gonna try and make one more move. I probably could have stayed where we were. It's unfortunate that one fish got away that snapped us off, because I think that would have been the third of the limit potentially that I would have kept, but whatever. We're gonna move someplace that I haven't fished before. I want to mix it up, just survey the area, see if we can find a new spot that will work, and see if we can get on some good action. So looking for something like 18 to 30 feet of water tops, but ideally around 25, and something that maybe hasn't been hammered as much, because as you can see behind me, plenty of boats out deeper, but obviously there's plenty of good fish still in the shallows, so let's make that work. All right, let's see what we can find over here. I did mark a few signs of life. This whole area is just loaded with structure, but some hold a little bit better, so let's see what we can do here. So I tried this area for a little while. I did move around a little bit. As I said, there was plenty of great structure. The only problem was that the fish weren't really thick around here. I did get a few, and I could have, poked around this a bit more, but ultimately it was starting to get into the afternoon at this point, and I did not want to fish all day as I had to work the next day. So after a little bit of thought and soul searching, I decided to go back to where I was before in the previous spot, only because I thought maybe I had an hour tops to fish, and I didn't want to have to, search for a brand new spot when I didn't have much time left to fish to begin with. So if I had more time, I would have explored more, but I figured, might as well make the most of it and try and fish as hard as I could for that last hour, even if it was a spot I've already tried. Alright, we just moved a little bit. There wasn't too much happening in that last spot, so we pushed in a little closer to shore. Trying to get right on the side of a drop off. See if that makes any kind of difference. If this doesn't work, we're probably just going to go right back to where we were and finish strong there, because I don't want to be here all day. And I definitely felt confident I could pull another keeper off that spot, if not even something even bigger. Male. Not bad. Look how orange that fish is. He might be the winner of Orangest Tog of the Year. Okay, without question, this is going to be my last anchor, and we're actually fishing where we just left. So we're going to try and make it happen, and we're going to try and give it everything we got to get a few more nice fish before we call it a day. Try and burn through all these crabs because they're not in great shape. Getting some of the bigger ones now, so that's kind of nice. An interesting looking one, kind of speckled chin. It's not bad. That might be. That will probably keep. It's very close. It's probably just a tiny bit short. Yeah, 15 3/4. It's okay. Certainly more what we want to see. It's not a bad fish. It's close. That might do it. I think that will. That should be 17. Yeah, that's a keeper. That is definitely a keeper. So we get our full limit. Full kept limit, rather. Might not be, I don't know. He's like right on the money, 16, so I'm gonna let him go. I just don't want him that close. Again, like, if I just touch the lips like this, he's 16, but if I squish him, then he's like 15 and 15, 16, so back you go. Maybe. Very close. I don't think so, though. Look at all those fish, though. 15 and a half. Okay, that's gonna do it for today. Yeah, hot and cold day in the water. Things are definitely starting to cool down. You know, water temps didn't seem to get above really 57 today, and we're a bit lower most of the day. The fish are definitely starting to move out a bit. They're still fishing shallow, don't get me wrong, but they're not as concentrated as they were before. They're definitely spread out, and when they are concentrated, it's like just a few fish that kind of, you know, corralled or coalesced in one spot. And that's what we kind of found, I think, in that main spot we kind of set up shop in today, which, you know, not upset about that. But I do think a lot of these fish are starting to gravitate into some deeper stuff, unless you can find one of those, you know, spots like we found today where there's just structure everywhere. The fish kind of highway themselves over. But otherwise, yeah, I mean, I'm just going to enjoy this while we last. You know, once these water temps get below 50, it's going to be really tough to catch these fish. And I don't even know if I'm going to have too many more tox videos this season, but we'll see what happens. But if there is one, you'll see it, and I'll be there too. So catch the next one. Goodbye from Michelle.